to Bill Flynn in the morning.
Good morning. It's 9:08, 8 minutes after 9. It's the Love Your Lawn Hour. And I tell you what, there is no question that Tommy Cowett, the agronomist here with GrowinGreen, I can tell you are so engaged. In fact, sometimes our engineers have trouble keeping up with your microphone because you're so passionate about what you do.
Sorry, Alex.
It's not easy because, but I love the enthusiasm. I mean, it's the kind of thing that's infectious. You know, when you get excited about, just first thing coming in this morning, you were talking about how incredible the grass is right now.
Oh, my lawn is. I've taken pictures this morning of it.
Really? Now, this is what you do for a living, and you still can't get enough of it.
Can't get enough.
That's a great thing. By the way,
Obsession.
I have a compliment for GrowinGreen. And I have a former neighbor who was one of these guys that was always monitoring the neighborhood and wanting to make sure the yards looked right. And Good. He's the guy that worries about weeds transferring from one lot to another. And
sure.
His yard, I mean, he worked it.
Immaculate.
Oh, I mean, he had more in his lawnmower than some people have in their car. You know the kind of guy I'm talking about. I know that kind
of person. Yes, I have friends like that.
He actually said to me, "Your lawn is looking good."
Wow,
Bill.
That's kudos.
And so for him to go there, and I told him all about GrowinGreen and how the system was one that really does work with nature in a way, and rather than the strong arm nature.
Sure.
And that was part of the secret that you and I talk about on the show. So that's your compliment.
Thank you.
You should know that GrowinGreen is meeting some very high standards, even beyond my own. There.
Excellent. That's what we strive to do.
But what is it? The grass? Is it the cool weather and the growth and the sun? Tell me about this.
The tall fescue is at its optimum growth temperature right now. This is it's a cool season grass, bunch type, turf type, tall fescue.
And has weather been cooperating?
Yes. The moisture, it's just been perfect, ideal. And hopefully it hangs around, because by the end of May is usually when we see some things go into decline, where the nighttime air temperatures don't get below, say, 65 degrees. You're looking at the potential for disease, like brown patch, rhizoctonia, solani will start to creep. If we get, like, say, an evening thunderstorm, that's kind of a trigger to the penetration. Now, if you're on our fungicide program and even just the normal program, likely your plant is going to be a lot healthier. Thicker cell walls we've built. Also working with the microbiology that we're adding to the soil. Those are antagonistic. And they won't let these other pathogenic fungi invade. There's really a combating going on there.
It's a war right there.
It's a war in the
yard.
lawn, exactly.
Now, two things going on here, and I want to ask you about. Number one, the homeowner may see something, may notice, okay, I got this brown thing. I don't know what this is. Call the GrowinGreen folks.
Absolutely.
As a customer and say, this has happened. I need you to come out now and look at it or give me an idea what I need to do. The other thing, though, is with your routine visits, sometimes you or the technicians will notice things before a homeowner may not be to the point where a homeowner is going to know it, but you guys will because you see it early on.
Sure. I mean, we've been working on the lawn all year, hopefully. You know, if you're on our program already, we got to know the lawn. We see potential areas for problems. We've pointed those out. We've pointed out what we're seeing as far as your mowing height goes, whether you've cleaned up the leaves, whether you've gotten everything kind of in good condition. Right now, your lawn should be growing at its optimum if it's tall fescue. Hopefully, the Bermuda's going to pop sometime. It's been slow coming out. And I've got a lot of calls in from area athletic directors who are a little concerned about how much,
The Bermuda is still not ready to wake up fully.
It's not woken up completely
Is that
yet.
partly because of the cool temperatures we've had, the cloud cover and the rain, or is that related to?
Exactly. We've had a cool spring. So, it's slow. And if we've done some treatments on it, as far as weed control goes, back in the winter, where we may have applied a Roundup Simazine mixture to that field, which pretty much takes out anything but the dormant Bermuda grass. And that's a really good economical way to go in the wintertime, is to treat that field with if it's not overseeded with that combination of products, because it's pretty much a blanket, application. You're going to get everything that's out there, leave the Bermuda be. But it could slow the green up of the Bermuda a little bit.
Almost like a grass anesthesia that has to wear off a little bit. I mean, it doesn't wake up as quickly.
Doesn't wake up as quickly. That's all. But it will come out, and we just hope, with that 4-degree weather we got back in the winter, that can kill grass. You have spring dead spot is another issue. You don't know unless, we're going to be killing off some of this ryegrass right now. Scott's actually out, going and killing ryegrass. It's unbelievable. Like we talked about Bowman Gray last week. The field's beautiful, okay? It's ryegrass. Bishop McGinnis, some places are ryegrass right now. It's beautiful. Well, we're getting ready to come and kill it. It's sad. Some people just go, what happened to the field? And it's like, we killed it. Just to get that that ryegrass out of the way.
So you won't have a competing organism going there. Now,
it's insanity, but that's what we do.
The thing I wanted to get your comments to. Earlier this morning, we were talking about depression and how it is linked to like severe credit card debt or debt otherwise. You were telling me that you ran across a story, and it's just top of your head is okay with this, that there's a correlation between gardening and mental health that you read about.
Absolutely. I was at the Guilford County Extension Agency yesterday just picking some people's brains for a project we're going to be embarking on. It's a backyard orchard. So I was just getting some information.
Now that sounds mighty cool. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, I came across a publication Guilford County Extension puts together about gardening for stress relief, and that's really awesome. I mean, it's true. You can get out in a garden and work it. Right now is the time. They even had gardening for a taco garden. I mean, where
what is a taco garden?
You grow all the ingredients that you want to put in your tacos. You're growing lettuce, tomatoes, jalapeno peppers, red bell peppers, everything that you want to put on your taco. And you grow it in your garden, man, you can have the best fresh tacos, toppings all summer long. They also had a pizza garden idea. And right now is the time to plant these things.
Okay, so you actually plant based on the menu item you want to have.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, man.
And how exciting it is. And having done a limited amount of gardening, when you grow it, it changes everything as the flavor experience.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love homegrown tomatoes, and I appreciate Smith Patterson has a bumper crop most years, and I never say no. But the one tomato I got last year that I grew on my own, it was an experience.
Best tomato.
Well, you know how that goes. We're going to take a short break and come back. With us this morning, Tommy Cowett from Growing Green. It's the Love Your Lawn Hour. And if you have a question for Tommy, maybe something going on in your lawn right now, 896-1980, the phone number.
Call now. The number is 896-1980, AM 980, The Eagle.
We continue this morning with the Love Your Lawn Hour and the passion that runs deep. The Turf Commander, Jonathan Rigsby, has set quite a standard with everybody at Growing Green, and Tommy Cowett is certainly part of that team, and joins us this morning to talk about Growing Green and the work you're doing there. You were talking about how gardening can be such a great stress reliever.
Sure.
And I'm a big fan, too, of just being able to step back and look at your well-manicured lawn, your healthy lawn. Just that is a stress reliever, isn't it? I love that. It changes. I can almost feel blood pressure going down.
Oh, man, I mowed my lawn last night.
Me too, yeah.
I'm mowing on a weekly now. I mean, with this really growing fast.
4 inches. You did 4 inches.
And it's striped. And I striped it last night.
Now, when do you say stripe? What is it?
Putting a pattern down.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Alternating
Right.
the direction. That's all it really is. But if you're cognizant of what you're doing, you can really make some cool patterns.
Yes.
So I'm kind of looking like Yankee Stadium.
Oh, my gosh.
And standing out like a sore thumb. But I'll do that. I enjoy that. There's many different patterns to do. We have some YouTube videos on striping. And some people think it's a machine or some kind of chemical or mechanical. No. Well, some of the ball fields, some of these really high-end, professional national baseball league, they will maybe use some dyes and things.
Oh,
cases. Who
do
knows?
they?
Yeah, but in most part, it's
Okay.
just the mowing direction, the blade.
Now, how healthy is it? And is it recommended in a lawn to not cut it in the same way each time? Does that give the grass any advantage one way or the other?
It does, yeah. Alternate your
How so?
cutting direction. I mean, it's
What does
really
that do
good.
for the lawn, the grass, whatever?
It's just if you keep following the same pattern, that you're going to stress the lawn. It really will. Over time, it'll keep stressing it.
So the same tractor marks, if you're using a lawn tractor to mow,
Sure.
not that you're making ruts, but I mean, you get the same
wheel
thing.
marks, yes.
Uh-huh.
Those tire tracks will be more evident. You don't want that. So alternate directions,
All right. So
That
for
way.
the beginner, that maybe it's alternating, just maybe it's parallel to the road and then perpendicular to the road.
Yeah.
That's it. That would do it.
That's it.
And if you really want to get fancy, then you go on the diagonal. Is that how you
Diagonal's
get
what I did last night.
Is that how you get the design that you're talking
Yes. I actually went two directions. So I went diagonal and then I went across. So I had,
about? So you double cut your lawn.
checkerboard lawn
I bet
right
it's
now.
gorgeous.
It is.
I want to see a picture.
I've got one right here I took this morning.
Why am I not
Hey,
surprised?
we're doing theater of the mind. That's why I brought this up. Something we're really proud of at Growing Green is this white large envelope that I'm holding here in my hand. This is what you will get if you get a proposal from Growing Green. This took many years in development, and we finally put it together and released it last year. And this is what our customers get. It's a book. It really is. It shows you a complete guide. This is what you get when you get a proposal from Growing Green. And it has all of our programs that we do and explains them in detail.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The 7 lawn treatments are described here. Each thing that we do is described. How and why, and what time it's going to be done, and what it's for. And it really, this is almost like a compendium for anybody with a lawn or landscape. We even talk about our mosquito control program here. I like to throw in a little brochure about the compost tea that we use.
I know you're a big fan of that.
I'm a huge fan of the biology. It's what the basis of our program. But this is, what do you think? I mean, look at this.
Hand it over here because this is
Look at that thing. It's beautiful.
This is a piece that actually for somebody that says, well, what exactly do you do?
Well,
this
there
is
it
the
is.
answer.
Plus,
Because-
it's this folder, the way it's designed, you can keep all your, typically your service tickets in that and keep documentation of everything we've ever done. And you can keep that thing for years.
This is a great example of, really, the term is multiphasic. There's an awful lot of phases going on within each of these, the fungicide program. Mm-hmm. And there's a cycle that's on. And for folks that really think they want to take care of their own lawn, they need to know all about these things.
Sure.
The fall seeding, the insecticide program, the tree and shrub program, the bed pre-emergent program, the biologically enhanced turf program. All of these things and have to work together and not in competition with each other, right?
Exactly. I mean, this is that is full program right there. That's everything that we do. It's about 26 treatments on a lawn a year. That doesn't include some other specialty things that we could do for you, like Bermuda suppression or Bermuda grass eradication from tall fescue. We could discuss that with you or trying to eradicate moss from your lawn, or we have brochures on or pamphlets we put together on violets. Violets are very difficult, or Dallas grass, some of the most difficult to control things. Those are extra too, but this is pretty much, there's a lot to lawn care.
Well, there is, and I didn't mention the mosquito and insect control. You did touch on that. But you mentioned, say, 26 different treatments in
can
a
be
year.
done. Yeah.
Now, for the consumer, that means I got to do 26 treatments on my lawn. Mm-hmm. It means I got to make 26 trips probably to a store or somewhere that's going to get me what I got. So now I'm up to 52. I'm doing once a week just to get this stuff. Doesn't count the time it's going to take me and/or the equipment to deliver this to my lawn.
When we show up on your lawn, we have the ability to do at least 5 of these things right then and there.
Boom.
Yeah, one time. And right there.
That's the way.
In our visit, we can do 5 of the different things.
And as your technicians look at the lawn, if there's one that you don't need or one that you need maybe another treatment coming down. Tell me about that variability customer to customer.
Yeah, I mean, some people need more than others, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And some people can afford a lot more than others. I would say, there's economics. I mean, some people
Mm-hmm.
just say, I'm going to do that myself, as far as some things go. But some things we can do much easier than you can. I mean, it's probably more cost effective to hire us than to go buy this stuff or try to do it yourself.
Well, go out and buy the new lawn tractor that's going to let you do the kinds of things maybe you think you need to do. I mean, that's several $1,000s out of pocket, boom, right now.
Ouch.
Then the maintenance every year that, Smith will talk to you. Smith Patterson is
Mr. John Deere.
Well, he's the guy that used to take care professionally of lawns, and so he knows, and every year sends his machinery out to go get it, serviced and ready to go. And there's just endless details. And Growing Green, not only they know what they're doing, and not only they have the program for you, you can pick what it is that you'd like them to do, and I think it's just a great service. Tommy Cowett will be back in just a moment. Growing Green, go to the website, see what I'm talking about, and find out more at growinggreen.com. And you can also call them directly at 1-866-LAWN-HELP. 1-866-LAWN-HELP. We'll be back with the Love Your Lawn Hour. More in just a moment on the Eagle.
Call now. The number is 896-1980. AM 980, The Eagle.
Good morning. We continue with the Growing Green Love Your Lawn Hour. Tommy Cowett is with us this morning. He's a staff agronomist with Growing Green. And earlier this morning you mentioned about this really beautifully done piece. It's the Growing Green Love Your Lawn. I'm going to call it consumer information. What do you call it? The folder file? I mean, it's got everything in here.
Yes, it's a proposal folder. When you order a free estimate, you get this. And, it's a comprehensive guide to everything that we do, just about.
And this is great information for somebody that maybe wants to understand what's going on with their lawn, even to the point of mosquito and insect control. That's the one thing. If everything is perfect in your lawn, and you go out and you can't be left alone because you got some insects that want to cause you a problem, which also can, they can carry disease and other complications you don't want to mess with.
Sure.
But this is part of what you also can offer. Tell me a little bit about that side of it.
Well, with that, we are certified as Environmental Pest Control, and that it allows us to treat for mosquitoes, fleas, and ticks.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, that used to be done by a pest control operator, PCO. We're an LCO, lawn care operator. But now, I guess everything's changed there, and we're certified to do that, and we do it a little different than other folks do. Like some of these mosquito control companies you see fogging everything. Mm-hmm. We don't like to do it that way because it tends to drift. And one thing we've learned in our many, many years of lawn care is it's not good to treat the neighbor's yard at all. I mean, keep your stuff in the yard you're treating. Don't let, because the fogging tends to drift on.
You remember being a kid in this part of the country, and we would have in the neighborhood, do you remember, maybe you're younger than I am, but we used to have a truck.
Right.
That would go down the neighborhood streets with a fogger behind it.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm sure it was DDT or something. I don't know what it was.
Nah, it was probably a pyrethrin.
A pyrethrin or something?
Yeah.
But, I mean, this would have been back in the 60s, that long ago.
Well, maybe. I doubt they were using DDT, Agent Orange, or anything like that.
But
bifenthrin's probably what they were.
The thing that I was, the thing that I was going to tell you, that kids commonly, if you remember this, help me make the case to Tommy. Kids would commonly ride their bikes behind this fogger for blocks and blocks.
Being daring.
Just to see how invisible they could get.
Oh, my God.
Now, I was not one of them. I did it one time. It's like, it's not for me. But
man, we were crazy.
My friend Dolph Davis, I mean, if the fogger truck was there, man, he was pedaling right behind that thing waving.
Oh, wow. I guess he's no bed bugs in his.
Or
lice. No. He's fine.
Yeah. His critical thinking skills may be marginally affected, but I don't know.
We ought to check up with him and see how he's doing these days.
This is a far better system, is my point, of being able to control things on your lawn. And again, the micro environments that you talk about. You may have an enormous mosquito problem that your neighbor doesn't, or vice versa, kind of thing.
Sure. I mean, we're actually targeting, and you could read that piece on that we're targeting where they're harboring during the day, where mosquitoes like to lay. And we're getting them where they are, not in the air. We're getting them where they're resting during the day, which is the typical thing. And they like water, so we educate the customer as to keeping, bird baths and things like that, in control. I mean, it's okay to have a bird bath, but don't let it, become a mosquito larvae infested bird bath.
Well, and that's the thing. So many places water can easily collect. If you got a lean-to shed outside and you got some lawn equipment under there, you may be holding some water in a trailer that
Could
you
be
pull.
An old bucket laying around, anything, Tires were always the big problem. That's a perfect harborage. If you got old tires in your backyard, get rid of them.
That's probably not going to enhance your standing in the neighborhood. If you have a lot of
guy
tires.
walks around looking at everybody's yard. Of my HOA, he's let me know, and not allowed to have an upside down wheelbarrow on the side of the house. And I get a certified letter from the management company. Hey, you got to get that out of there, or we're going to get it out of there, and then we're going to charge you for that.
Well, these are all things that this is not new territory to any homeowner out there. One thing I'd like you to talk about, too, you were talking about earlier today about growing a taco garden, growing a pizza garden. And as we're coming up into Mother's Day, do you have some ideas from GrowinGreen that maybe mom-focused, mom's perfect yard, mom's perfect garden kind of thing?
Man, I would definitely think, well, every year I buy my mom a Mondevilla plant from Lowe's. They come in and then they go. You got to get them while they're hot. So I'm sure this week they're there.
Now, why do you like them? And what is it?
We have this huge urn that we plant a new one in because it will not survive the winter.
I see.
And this is a beautiful vine. It's Mondevilla. It attracts the hummingbirds, which she has hundreds of them.
Oh, wow.
And this helps bring them in. It's a beautiful red Mondevilla. I mean, that's something I always get from my mom. But, or urns are perfect patio gardens. I mean, you can grow your taco garden, your pizza garden right there in a large urn. Gardening in containers is a way to go. I like to encourage people to grow as much of their own food as possible. If it's just one pot growing on the back deck with, some leafy greens, kale, collards, just start with some kale, collards, and lettuce. Bok choy, maybe. These are superfoods. And if you can harvest just a little bit, man, it's great. Some onions.
Well, let's take that idea. What if, what if you start small and you say, I'd really like to put a garden in where I've got maybe a grass deficiency or, consulting with GrowinGreen, you can get some ideas on where you might want to put a garden in your lawn.
Absolutely. We'd love to help, you establish a garden in, your lawn. It does require quite a bit of sunlight. So usually sunlight being the main issue on lawns, struggling lawns or difficult to grow grass in. That's usually has something to do with light. So that area that you're getting that full sun, that's prime real estate for a little garden.
Ah, okay.
Yes. You want the sunniest spot for your garden to get good production, good tomato growth, peppers. You can grow any of this stuff. And getting back to this little project I'm embarking on, I have not done much with this over the years, but I'm really, it's an orchard. Which
hold that. That's the one thing I hadn't gotten to yet on the program, and it's growing your own orchard. Now, that may sound like a tall order, and that maybe you need a whole line of juice products in order to justify that, but we'll get to that discussion with our Love Your Lawn Hour and all that goes with it. Tommy Cowett is our guest with GrowinGreen and GrowinGreen.com. Back in a moment.
Call now. The number is 896-1980. AM 980 The Eagle.
Oh, yeah, we're grazing in that growing green grass in the Love Your Lawn Hour.
Yes, sir.
Morning. And we're talking to Tommy Cowett. You brought up on the program an interesting concept called the home orchard. And To understand the power of the home orchard, we got to actually bring in a story about Stu Epperson, our owner here.
That's right.
And this goes back to a presentation some months ago. Tell me about this.
Stu, I've been lucky enough to be in the office when Stu makes his little Christmas stop in to GrowinGreen.
When he's dressed up like the elf from what was the elf's name in the what? Buddy the Elf. Yeah, thank you. Buddy the I was reading lips across the window. Thank you, Alex.
And Stu comes dancing into the office, usually once a year.
And he's got the stockings on it's
bringing
really good.
Gifts of joy to everyone.
And how nice.
He came in with Mr. Incredible one time, and there was another costume character that he had with
a
him.
muscle man looking guy.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I remember that.
So he's dancing around. And this is what's inspiring this orchard idea. Stu says, "Hey, do you want a $5 pear?" I'm like, "A $5 pear?
A pear of what?
No, I'm talking about a fruit. A $5 pear.
A pear."
So he goes to his car and he pulls out this pear. And he had like a box of these pears. Mm-hmm. And each pear was perfectly wrapped in this, I guess it was like a 24-pack of these and wrapped in this parchment paper. And I took that pear home, and on Christmas morning, me and the girls sat down, we cut it into quarters, and we ate that pear. It was so delicious. And I'm thinking, $5 pear,
Well, if it feeds a family of 4, you got something.
It was delicious, And then I've got a customer who's got a back, 40 kind of area. What to do with that? We don't want to keep that maintained as a lawn. It's a slope. Right. It goes off. It's full sun. What a perfect place for an orchard.
Like half an acre we're talking about?
Yes, pretty large place. So, if you can plant these fruit trees, you could actually go ahead and create like a meadow underneath them.
I love that idea.
The trees will become shade trees. They're not going to get out of hand, but they're going to produce food. They will produce great fruit. Now, this big inspiration from him was he loves the Honeycrisp apple. Honeycrisp apple, have you ever heard of them? They come out of the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
And they are some of the best apples and it's probably like a $5 apple, I'm imagining.
So this is a specific brand of apple he's in love with.
Right.
And he's going to, at some point, be able to have his own.
He'll have his own.
How cool is that?
Crisp apples growing. And if I could get the variety of that pear Stu gave me, I'm going to add that to this. Because think about it. We could be growing these wonderful fruits. Now, backyard orchards are different than a commercial orchard.
Talk to me a little bit about the reasonable approach as a backyard orchard here. How is it that it's manageable for a consumer?
Number one, you've got to get the soil biology right before you start. You need to soil test. Just like in a lawn, you really need to get a good soil test and find out what's going on there in the soil.
So some of these orchard trees have different nutrient requirements than other ones that are, okay.
You need to know. You want to get everything balanced out. You want to make sure that, you're going to want to till this thing up. You do want to incorporate a lot of good organic matter and make sure the pH is correct. If you're going to, in a backyard orchard, you might also want to grow blueberries. And they like a highly acidic soil, so you're going to want to amend that with aluminum sulfate or something like that, to bring the pH down for the blueberries. So, you're going to actually plan this thing out, design it, and then it will occupy all that half-acre space. It probably won't get mowed but maybe 2-3 times a year at the most, but it's going to become a productive backyard space. And I'd love to share that, with some more people who, just have a field. If they're just mowing that field, there's new varieties of fruit trees that are out that can handle the heat a lot better now. There are a lot of these 5-in-1 type of plants where you can get 5 different varieties on one plant, on one tree. So you can be growing all kinds of different things on one tree.
So
it's grafted.
5 different kinds of things on one tree. What would be an example then? Are you
have 5 different varieties of pear could be on one, Okay. I think they're even getting as crazy as doing different fruits on one tree. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was not prepared for that answer, but could you imagine one tree that would be having, apricots and apples?
Sure. I'm not
seasonally or whatever.
I've seen the different varieties on the one tree, the 5-in-1s.
This is remarkable, though. You've minimized the cost of maintenance for that half acre of your lawn.
Sure.
Because you're only going to mow it, as you mentioned, a couple of times a year. And then you're using it to generate some. I mean, can you imagine sitting on your deck, looking down to say, those apples are going to be ready in about another week or so.
Exactly.
Let's go ahead and get the pie preparations or whatever you want to do.
Oh, we've got a customer with a couple of cherry trees. And she makes these pies, and they're amazing pies.
It ain't the same as buying the stuff.
Only one time a year, yep. She'll make about 4 or 5 pies, and then they'll eat the rest. And then the birds, of course, are going after them. These are the sweet cherries. And they'll grow around here, folks.
They really will.
Oh, yeah. Folks, you got to get on it if you want something really special in your yard.
Now, these are fruit-bearing trees. How long do they need to be planted and taken care of before they actually start generating?
Usually a few years before you're getting a lot of production out of them.
Now, do you buy them already grown, pretty like 4 feet high or saplings?
Absolutely. You really do want to buy a good tree from a good, reputable nursery. And that way, you know you're getting the right stuff. And there's actually some experts here. There's one particular guy up in Reedsville. He's completely sold out of everything already.
Wow.
So you do have to plan this thing out, and what they do is they ship in the wintertime and then it's done. He's done for the year, but he's been grafting all year. It's not open to the public. It's all mail order. But, and there's a lot of those guys out there that do
That's
that.
an intriguing idea. That's the first time we've talked about actually doing your own orchard if you have some acreage that, maybe Growing Green is taking care of the front and part of the back, but you got a sloping lawn that...
We can actually do orchard work. Typically orchards need to be sprayed in the springtime for fungus, get them at bud break. And there's also insect issues with orchard. But it's really not that expensive if you just time it correctly. We could take care of your fruit trees. So
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so we do a lot of we do some work on orchards, and even grapes. You can grow all kinds of food.
I'm going to start making my own wine if this whole idea continues too much.
North Carolina's becoming a big supplier or producer of wine now. Of course, we've got
with growing the things we've learned from Growing Green and you, Tommy. Interestingly enough, I've done some research into the idea of winemaking, and the fascinating thing is everything changes everything. The soil acidity, even by a few points, can make it an entirely different flavor at the end of the growing season. How much sun, direct sun versus shade versus cloud cover, all of these things you can taste in the end product, or you have to deal with in the end product. And you see this every day on the lawns. Everything changes everything.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, I'm not really into viticulture, which is the study of making wine, growing the grapes and making that. But what you're telling me is blowing my mind. I mean, I know there's a lot to it.
But you do, with the grass, the work that you're doing on the lawn and the grasses that you're treating and the soil. Any marginal change could have a profound effect on the success of the lawn.
I imagine it could. I mean, I know we improve lawns every day with what we do. And we kind of have a recipe for that. And we like to, inspire people to love their lawn through these methods that we employ out on lawns.
Well, to have the ability to enjoy the lawn that you've maybe you've been, in our case, at a house for a number of years, and you still have it maximized. That's kind of a neat place to be, really, because you don't ever want to feel like, well, I've gotten all I can get out of this lawn. There's always some tweaking that you can do, and there's always growth that changes, the exposure of sunlight, and areas of your lawn. And this kind of stuff, the Growing Green just understands how to maximize. So.
We do, and we understand the overall maintenance of a lawn. What it's going to take to really make it just a Class A property, improve that property, improve that curb appeal, improve the health of all of your plants and trees.
Well, I want to thank you. Our time is up. It's Growing Green, the website visit at growinggreen.com. 1-866 Lawn Help is the phone number. Tommy Cowett from Growing Green. Thanks. We'll see you again soon on AM 980, The Eagle.